Last time, though.
This meeting is being recorded.
Have it be.
Awesome. And
Yeah.
guys, if you will go ahead and mute, you may not talk, but I swear sometimes if you move in your seat, it will sound like, you know, we're in an auditorium. I learned that the very first time I was ever on Zoom. Somebody kept saying, Cheryl, mute, mute. I'm like, I don't know where mute is. And so, but anyway, so just in case, if you don't know, on your computer on the bottom, you're going to see it down there. If you're on your iPhone or a phone, I know an iPhone, it's in a different spot. So, but we don't want to like mute all because that'll mute us too. And then we get confused on how to do it. But all right, so we're ready to get started, guys. We are just a few minutes after 8. So first off, good morning and happy Saturday. And we know you guys have got up early this morning. And, you know, we just really appreciate you taking the time for yourself, your business, and all those things just to really kind of get going with this. But this is the last Saturday of this phase 1 series. So you don't have to get up on Saturday mornings anymore to get together with us. But put in the chat what you're drinking. If you're having coffee, if you're having tea, something like that, pop it in the chat so we know who our coffee or tea drinkers, our juice drinkers. If you're like me and have a combination of 2 things going on. But pop that in the chat just to kind of tell everybody good morning. And the next thing we just want you guys to do is don't focus on the chat. If you're going to take notes, go ahead and take notes. Because we want you to focus there. We know it's going to be popping up a little bit. But lastly, we want you to put in the chat how you're feeling about Elevate. You know, thumbs up, thumbs down. And thumbs down, I don't mean you don't like it, but thumbs down, you're like maybe on the struggle bus or something like that. So, but anyway. And guys, Donna, Jill, Janine, somebody, if y'all could take notes of the participants, that would be great. And the best way to do it is just click the participant box on the bottom and it lists it out instead of trying to write everybody's name down on the screen. But anyway, that way we're not having to like take roll or anything. But good morning, good morning, good morning. And so let's get started with Elevate. I know, but go. I got a little human here today. So Maya, go. Anyway. Can
I just say that you're not behind? Whoever just wrote, you're not behind. You're not behind. You're doing this like we're not scolding you or anything. So
no,
take that out of your head right now. You're not. It's fine.
Yeah. The purpose of this is for us to cheer you on and support you. Whichever bucket you fall into, that is the purpose. We're not judging, we're not grading, and nobody else is judging you, I promise. If nothing else, you may have a friend in this group reach out to you and say, hey, how can I help you? Because that's what building this community is all about, is helping each other. So it's not a race, and there is plenty of time to get your bookings before we start the phase 2 of Elevate. So real quick, I want to go over that. Phase 2 of Elevate it'll be on a Tuesday because Labor Day falls on a Monday. So normally they're all going to be on Monday, but when you reach 14 bookings for September, by the 5th of September, you will be welcomed into Elevate Phase 2. And that will happen on September 6th. It's a Tuesday at 7 p.m. Central. So do the math. You have plenty of time, over a week, to work on getting 14 bookings, okay? So go, woo! All right. So if you're not caught up on your contacts, get caught up on them. But anyway, so let's go ahead and get started. Just kind of wanted to let you know of that next date. So Saturday mornings are done for this series. We want to just like, you know, our purpose here is just to kind of see who's done the work. You know, and celebrate. That's why we want you to put in the chat and find out like who needs a little bit of help, who needs, you know, things like that. So your directors and leaders in this group are here to definitely help you. So we're going to kick this off with a testimony from somebody that I've been friends with for many, many years. And all because of Pampered Chef. We met through Pampered Chef and have just literally stayed in touch, whether we were doing cooking shows or, or things like that. So this is what I'm talking about, building relationships. So that's very important to think about that. We did not know each other prior to Pampered Chef. She joined my team in January. After many asks, we can't even count how many times I've asked her. But she decided to take the leap in January. So life changed, and she jumped into Pampered Chef. So Samantha Bowley, I'm going to let you share what your little testimony for the next couple of minutes with everybody, so they can get to see your journey.
Good morning, everybody. My name, of course, is Samantha Bowley. I am from Elkton, Kentucky. I am a director under Cheryl. Not only am I a director, I am a fast track director. And so that's a pretty great accomplishment. I'm pretty proud of that. But like Cheryl said, Cheryl and I have been friends for many, many years. She asked me over probably a 10 to 15 year period. I can't tell you how many times to join her team. So for all those asking, don't give up, because those people might actually do it. It may take some time, but so glad to be able to speak to you today about my journey with Pampered Chef. It has been a short journey. Just joined January 31st. So not really even January. Let's just consider it February, because it was the very last day. So Pampered Chef has done some pretty great things. Of course, like I said, I have fast track to director, which is quite a bit of work, but I'm gonna tell you, it is doable for those of you who are still in your fast track period. Growing a team, once you get going, actually there's my first recruit is on this call, Alicia. So I'm very, very excited that she is going through this process with us. A lot of you has seen my small testimony in the messenger group. I was part of the pilot program for Elevate. So that first trial run really made a difference for my business. It really, really did. I went from 4 parties or less. I don't even really remember. Sorry, I have a toddler. But it took me from less than 4 parties to over 33 that I'm currently have scheduled, and of course I add more every day. But today I just want to talk to you about what Pampered Chef has done for me personally, my reasons for joining. When I first joined, I am a stay-at-home mom, so anybody who's a stay-at-home mom knows how it is. You kind of are seeking, I guess, you need a community. You kind of are feeling isolated most of the time, not bringing in any money to your household. And for a lot of people, especially myself, I come out of the corporate world. I worked many, many years as a desk in a desk job, working, 40 to 50 some hours a week. And then suddenly nothing. So there's a lot, I know it was, at least for me, a lot of feelings of self-worth tied up into my ability to provide for my family. It's still a little bit emotional. But Pampered Chef has let me bring some money back, so I don't feel quite as useless. Sorry. But not only that, it has provided me with you all, every one of you all. I have made some really, really great friends through Pampered Chef in the last several months. There's a lot of great men and women. I had an awesome time at conference. Awesome time. If you can go, please go. But y'all, not only am I enjoying as a director all the benefits of a director, I'm actually able to change people's lives. my recruit, Alicia. I don't know how many of you tuned in last year to the floods in Tennessee. I'm gonna talk a little bit about her. Alicia is my aunt, and she lost everything, absolutely everything. And she joined my mother's party, which was one of the first parties that I actually had. And then I thought about her. I said, Alicia, I said, how about, because she talked about wanting to stock her kitchen because she lost it all during the flood, right? And I said, Alicia, I said, how about you sell? How about you sell some Pampered Chef and let's restock your kitchen for free. And I tell you what, she was ready and she's here. She's right here with us right now, growing her business. So not only has it touched my life and affected my life, it's affecting her life and all the other people that we're coming in contact with every day. I have a small team. I do not have a very big team at all. I've got I had 6 recruits. I think I'm down to actually 4 active members. 3 active members actually, but it's a process, and don't get frustrated. You're gonna keep growing if you do the work. But guys, I'm enjoying the income. I'm enjoying the friends that I have made. I'm enjoying being able to help other people like Alicia, like you, do what we do every day. Make your money, whatever's important to you. If you want to travel, if you're saying, hey, I'm going to earn that trip, hey, I'm going to earn that trip. But if you want to travel, if you want to make the money, if you want to help other people, if you need that community that you have right here. And I don't know, I know a lot of you have dropped out of the messenger group, and I encourage you, please get back in it, because we are all there rooting for you. There's lots of communication going on between you and other people, us and you, us as the directors. There's so much happening, and you need that whether you know it or not. And so I hope that, I'm sorry to get you a little emotional this morning. I did not intend on doing that. Didn't even intend on being emotional myself. But when I think back to how I got started and what I've encountered so far, I am very, very happy I joined. I'll just say that. So guys, just hang in there. It's a lot of work right now because, like I said, I've been in your shoes. I know what it's like. It's a lot of work. It's a little stressful, but the benefits that you're going to reap from doing all the work are innumerable. I mean, really. So thank you very, very, very much for listening to me this morning. I wish you the absolute best in your business. And if I can ever be of assistance, please let me know.
Well, that was awesome. Thank you, Samantha.
Sorry, I just woke up like 10 minutes ago.
No, you're fine. That was
It wasn't 10
amazing.
minutes ago, but like 10 minutes before 8. It's been a morning.
This is your Saturday morning reminder that this is not just about selling vegetable peelers.
No.
But I like to always say.
Yeah.
We're not in the market. We're consultants, so we do sell products, but we help people and find solutions, and we change lives. And so, Samantha, and I'm so glad I continued to ask you.
Yes.
Because she did kind of take me by surprise the last time. Hey, Kelly, if you can answer that message I just sent you because I wasn't following you. I know. Do you want me to do the top one first? Is that what you're saying? Okay. All right. So what you're saying, you're muted, but it's okay. You can message me
But
that.
I think otherwise it's hard to follow.
So do the black one first.
Please.
Okay. And that will, okay. Sorry. We'll do a little screen share because Kelly's got to hop off once, we kind of get to the end of this. But so we want to get an update on your bookings, and those can go in the chat, and we're going to monitor the chat. So I know we kind of already spoke a little bit about that, But put in the chat, maybe how close you are to your goal. If you've already hit your goal of 14 bookings, which I know Melissa right out of the gate had hers just rocking and rolling. So yay, Melissa. Let's give her a Pampered Chef clap. But yeah, put in the chat, where you're at. And we're gonna talk about like maybe some strategies and leaders. I'm just kind of going to pull what I said. I'm going to go ahead and put it into right here where I'm talking, and that way it kind of flows with what we're talking about. And we want to celebrate you. So we want to see all these numbers rolling in. And even if you didn't get a booking, celebrate your action. Celebrate yourself by reaching out to people. It is not, you're not gauged on how many bookings you get. Rather, we want to like celebrate the action. We can't control the outcome, but we can control us and our actions. So make those, making those contacts. If you're like, I got 0 bookings, but man, I reached out to 90 people. Okay, let's kind of dig, put that in there, because that is something to celebrate. Guys, let's just take a minute. Did everybody raise your hands? Did everybody get a chance? And I know it was a little bit of a longer video, but Alicia and Kelly were talking about the tracker. And I know there was like, all right, great. I know there was probably like when y'all saw the tracker that I put in there, you might have went, whoa. I did update that tracker, took out some things, put some examples in there. And that your tracker does not have to be that intense. Maybe you're not doing some of the things in those columns. It's okay. Put what you are doing or what you need to do. So that tracker is just, I grabbed it from somebody, I use it, and that's what I've been using. But yours might want to look a little bit different. You do it your way. It is so hard sometimes to take somebody else's system and get into their head, because most systems are created on what they are doing, how they're working their business, things that they want to track. So you may not want to track the things that I want to track, or you may not want to track the things that Alicia or Kelly, kind of spoke about. So there was also the video where I showed you guys my paper tracker. It is simply like a notebook paper. That might be the way you want to do it. But what we want to get across is tracking is very, very important. So share in the chat, what is your tracking system? Is it a digital tracking system? Is it a paper tracking system? Those things, very, very important. So who is using a tracking system that just kind of wants to raise your hand and let us know, like, we want to find one person, raise your hand and say, you just kind of want to share quickly, like, what is your tracking system and how does it work for you? All right, Samantha, go ahead.
Well, you didn't have to pick me.
Yours was the first hand I saw go up.
Oh, sorry. I do a paper tracking method. I have not graduated into an online one yet, a virtual one. But basically all I track is I have a page for each party. It'll have the host name, it'll have the previous host name. I keep track of who all has ordered. And I'll also keep track of people who are very active, your party rock stars. I make a note of those, mainly to keep following up. And then usually on the back side of that page, I go through and list all the winners in their categories for the winner posts that I do. And that includes, the drawing winners and stuff like that who fill out drawing slips. It just makes it a whole lot easier. And then depending on the space that I have, how many people was in that party, I'll go and I'll list the bookings right below it. Or maybe back on that front of that page. That way I have everything for that party in one place. I have a second notebook. And I actually recently bought a 5-subject large notebook, which is actually really handy. I don't know why I didn't think about that earlier, but anyway, I have a second notebook that I list all of my bookings per week. So it's kind of like the tracker that you'll watch in the videos, but I list all the parties. They'll have their party date, the name of the host, what type of party they are, whether they are Facebook, in-home cooking, or table parties. And then I list the host, and then I also have check marks for whether I have created the party, whether the party is on the actual party listed under the host, where they'll get credit for it. And then I have a check mark for whether I have sent the host packet. And then usually on the back side of that page, I'll put their addresses, just so that I have it handy and I can go through that list when I'm sending out my host packets. So that's just a quick overview of what I do.
Awesome. Thank you. Couple other things. And if you haven't had a chance to listen to that, please listen. That tracking is very critical. However in depth you want to track, but tracking is very, very critical. Another thing is there is a really great Zoom with, I just lost my, no, Marna Ross it's one of the ones in there. It's actually an audio recording, and she talks about bookings. She talks about how she got bookings at cooking shows because she's been a consultant for 20 plus years. She talks about how she's getting bookings when she transitioned into the virtual world. So some of us started in the cooking show days and we had to figure out how to get bookings with people we didn't see. So and that's the only way that's what we had to do. So make sure that if you hadn't listened to that already, please do. And lastly, I know this was really critical the last time we talked. We want to talk to you if you're feeling overwhelmed with the 30 contacts a day. Is anybody feeling overwhelmed with trying to find that many people to talk to? Quickly, I'm going to just share with you something that I shared the last time that I felt that worked. And for those of you that heard me and it helped you, pop that in the chat. But take your contacts instead of going, I don't know where to start, and having different messages for different people, because your message to a past host is going to look different than a message to your high school friend that's never hosted, right? Or is going to look different to a guest that you have no idea who they are, or that's going to look different to somebody that wanted an electric and you want to help them get that electric for under $100 because they're $100 off, and it makes them all under $100 for guests. You do know that, right? So you want to take a piece of paper, whether it's in your booking notebook, wherever, and you want to title it, like each section: host, past host, rock star guest, people who want one of these electrics. You kind of get in the picture. So you're going to take that mound of people and you're going to take it and you're going to divide it up. Then you're going to type up your message for each one of those categories. And you're going to do all this before you get started. So then, here's your message to your past host. Some of you are brand new. You may not have past hosts, but those of you who have been around a little bit, you have past hosts. And that's that message that you're going to copy and paste and maybe put a little bit of personalization, but you can get done with all of them right there and you don't have to switch gears. When you are texting all of the things, you're going to lose track in your mind which message you need to see where, and it's going to cost you time. We talk about time management. I know it's a struggle for everybody. I know it's a struggle for me, so I just assume it's a struggle for everybody. But if you have it broken down like that, then you're going to go to your message for people that wanted one of those electrics. Well, your message is going to look completely different to one of those. So send those messages out to those people, but take your contacts and break them down into categories. That will really help you. It'll help you streamline, and it will help you not feel like you're drowning. So I'm done there, and I want to turn it over to Donna. So take it away, hon.
Yeah, I should have already unmuted earlier. So Samantha got us all in tears earlier, and I was actually emotional just thinking about what I was going to be talking about, but hopefully I can get through this. I know I went to conference bawling my eyeballs out when I got to talking with who changed my life with host coaching and how, important it is. I always heard it was important, and I always tried to do the best I could with it. But when I actually took somebody's host coaching and ran with it, it really did change everything. So many hosts don't know how to have a successful party, and it's our job to help them get as many free products as possible. Yes, you're going to have hosts that, don't do what you mention, but it's very important to follow a host coaching guide so that you can give them the best tips. And there's different host coaching guides out there, and just find one that, is working for others. And I know we've shared, all of our teams have shared different host coaching guides that we're using. So just take it and make it a habit. That's the big thing. Make it a habit. Get you a system. And whether you have to set alarm, I had to set alarm for years just because I found I was forgetting, days happen and days go by. And I know I was driving to an in-home party and I realized, oh my gosh, I didn't even do my host coaching before I left. And then I got home from my party hours later and realized I didn't even do it the day before. So that's when I found out I need to set an alarm. So it's totally very important to do. And you will definitely, when you start doing host coaching and doing it consistently, you will amazingly see an increase in your salary, because it's going to make your parties be better. It's going to make your hosts get more free products, and it's going to make you have a higher paycheck. So I am an example of that. So, used to, I would struggle making ends meet, but when I implemented host coaching, I was earning the level 2 trips and earning a huge salary, and it's just continuing to grow. All my bills are paid off because I made this business a priority and made host coaching a priority. And now I get to save for things that, our family wants. And it's just so exciting and rewarding to be able to make the money that you need to, support your family and get things that you want for your family, and not have to worry about, how much money you're spending at the grocery store. But I'm going to cut off and turn it over to the next person so I don't keep on and getting emotional. But I just wanted to let y'all know how important it is.
Awesome. It's me next. Cheryl, do you got that for me? Okay. So today we're going to talk just a little bit about your hourly wages and how to kind of figure that out, and what it's going to look like for some sales, what your personal sales could be. So if I told you that you could make $14 an hour working your Pampered Chef business from home, would you sit down and send out the booking messages that you needed to do on a daily basis? If I told you that you could make $30 an hour working your Pampered Chef business from home, would you sit down and send out the booking messages to do on a daily basis? And if I told you that you could make $50 an hour working your Pampered Chef business from home, would you sit down and do those bookings? Cheryl's shaking her head yes. Yes. It's work, but it's flexible. It's not optional, but we can make some really good money doing this business. So let's talk hourly wages. On this graphic here, it shows you $12,000 in personal sales, working 20 hours a week on booking and selling, $4,000 in commission, and $50 an hour. $25,000 in personal sales, working 30 hours a week on booking and selling, $6,250 in commission, and $52 an hour. $5,000 in personal sales, working 10 hours a week on booking and selling, is going to be $1,250 in commission, $31.25 an hour. $1,000 in personal sales, working 4 hours a week in booking and selling, $220 in commission, $14 an hour. So that graphic, I think it really kind of shows you the difference if you put in the time. I mean, it really is pretty dang clear to you. And another really good thing for you to do is to go into your performance tracker, in the back in consultant connection, right? Is that how it is? Consultants connection. I can never remember what it's connection. I think it is. Go in there, click on your performance details. It'll tell you like what your show average is and all that stuff. It's a good place to make sure that you're going in and checking quite often. I probably am in there multiple times a day. It's true. I probably go in there multiple times a day, but it's a really good place to get yourself familiar. And actually now they've made it even easier on the dashboard on Consultants Corner for you to get to it. So if you've always kind of struggled with going through the reports button, click on it there. So we're also, Cheryl, do you want to click it to the next slide? And Cheryl will be posting this. So they're in the actual group today. So make sure that you know what your commission levels are, and make sure that you're checking how close you are, because I know that there's a lot of new consultants on here. Have you hit your $15,000 in career sales yet? Hitting $15,000 in career sales is going to bump you to a 2% increase on your commission rate. You can give yourself a raise by just doing that. And that is one of the reasons too why it's so important for you to make sure that you're active every month. If you're not active on the third month, if you will, with $150 in sales, you're going to lose your career sales and you're going to drop back down to zero. You want to not lose your career sales, especially if you're going to try to be in this business for the long haul. Make as much money as you can. Make sure that you get to that $15,000 and give yourself that increase. So keep this graphic, available to you. Put it in a good spot in your phone or save it somewhere good. Like Google Keep, I like to save that kind of stuff. And this is just something that you can look at once in a while, and you'll see where you're at. And it's incredible too. And I'm sure Samantha can attest to that because she's probably one of our newest directors. It is incredible to see when you get to higher in the career plan, how much that override number goes up. Eventually, your override number is going to surpass your own personal commission. It's crazy. That started happening to me in the last couple of years. It's just awesome what this business can do. So keep this kind of stuff front and center. If you keep it in front of you, you're going to look at it, you're going to want it more. And, this is the kind of stuff, I'll tell myself I'm the owner of $1 million business. And I tell different things like that to myself. Say those things out loud. Those affirmations are going to help you train your brain, and you're going to start thinking that you can make this kind of money. Okay. I don't remember who's going next. I'm sorry. I don't know who's going next.
That's me.
Okay. Thanks, Jill.
Yeah, thank you, Kelly and Donna and Cheryl and Samantha and everybody. Super excited to see all the stuff in the chat. We've got a lot of people with a lot of bookings and a lot of people working hard and doing all the things that are going to get you there. I want to point something out. So Melissa, shout out to Melissa Kendrick, when she put that she had her 14 bookings, I think it was like Monday. That was amazing. What it tells us is that took her 2 days. All right. Now let's face it, that was pretty impressive. But even when you're looking at the whole first week of this program, right? So she had 14. We've got people with 10, 11, 12 bookings, as well as people that have none and 1 and 2. That's okay. But if somebody can do that in the first week, somebody can do it in the second week, right? So think about that. If we even only had this program for 1 week, we've got some people that would have done it. And frankly, if the deadline had been this weekend instead of next weekend, maybe some of those people that have 10 would have been pushing a little bit more to get to the 14 now. But if it can be done in a week, it can be done in a week, whether it was the first week of this phase 1 or the second week, right? So even if you're starting from 0 today or 1 or 2, absolutely do not give up. And like Cheryl said, you've got more than a week, especially since our Labor Day little bump is giving you that extra day. So, that there definitely is time to do this. And I'm not saying it's easy. We know that. I mean, there's Samantha talked about it. This is work. It's putting work into your business. But when you're getting paid even $14 an hour, let's face it, it's way more than minimum wage in most places. When you're looking at potentially $30, $40, $50 an hour for doing the things that you're doing, that's what makes the difference in the results when people approach this as a business, rather than I'll get around to it when I get around to it, or I'll send 5 messages and see what happens, right? When you're being very intentional and saying, this is my business plan, because our business plan and strategy does not only include doing parties, it includes the things you do to get to where you have a party, right? And it's just as important, just as critical, just as legit as the part that involves actually sharing products with people. It's just a different aspect of what we do. It's like somebody that owns a coffee shop. They're not only selling coffee, they're also going in a couple hours before the shop opens to get things set up and get it ready and have it all prepared. So when somebody wants to buy coffee, they're ready to sell it to them. That behind the scenes work happens in every business in the world. And in our business, it involves things like 30 contacts a day to get your calendar where you want it to go. So this is absolutely needs to be part of your business strategy in a bigger picture sense. Okay. So, all right. My job is to share the call to action items for this week. So make and track your booking contacts. Okay. So we talked about different tracking things, and I think it's worth realizing, and you're probably already aware of this, but there are different kind of things you're tracking. So like the spreadsheet tracker that Cheryl shared is about, okay, when I have a party, here's my host name. Did I ask 5 times, right? Did I do this? Did I do that? Those are things specific to a party. Then you put the guest names in there, and did I, send them a thank you for their order? Okay, so that's one type of tracking. Absolutely critical, gives you great information to work with, but it's very different than tracking the contacts that you're making, right? Or tracking for an individual party where you're doing as Samantha described and Cheryl with an actual notebook piece of paper. Here are the people that placed orders. On the back, I'm going to put the people from the winners post. So we're looking at different types of things. So you may want to just take a second to think about with tracking, okay, this is where I'm tracking my booking contacts. This is where I'm tracking my recruit contacts. This is, what have you. Some people for that will take a notebook and take a page per day and write 1 through 30 on there and go through and, put the names of the people that you have reached out to that day. Turn the page. Okay, this is the, August, going to be August 27th. Here are my 30 names of people that I'm reaching out to today. And then make a note next to them, highlight them if they, booked a party, or, write a, follow up next week, or, whatever it is. So you can refer back to that. Maybe put a number or a hash mark next to it when you are, like, this was my first contact with this person. Now this is the second one. This is the third one, because of course, we don't give up after the first one. We need to continue doing that. And those are all contacts. So, kind of think about that, but definitely be tracking that. I think it was mentioned last week too, that sometimes where you're talking with your director saying, well, I've talked to everybody, nobody wants to have a party. We might say, okay, show me your tracker, your contact tracker. And I'm telling you, if you show Kelly a page with 3 names on it instead of 30, she's going to say, okay, let's talk about filling up that page. You know what I mean? And so that's for your sake. And a lot of times the cool thing is that if you're tracking like that, it's not going to get to where Kelly's saying that to you, because you're going to say it to yourself. You're going to look at that page and go, oh, wow, yeah, maybe that's why, I'm not really getting the results, because I feel like I talked to everyone. It was really 5 people. So if I've got a whole page with 30 lines and I only have 5 names on there, that's a reminder to myself that, I didn't quite hit the mark on that one, and I need to continue working on that. That goes into, of course, still continuing to make those 30 contacts a day. And here's a little thing, that's a minimum, you guys. So if you get on a roll and somebody it might have been Deb that I was talking to recently, or somebody that had made their 30 contacts, and I just kept going because you want to do that. So it was Deb or Kendra, Melissa, Sarah, somebody that I did a call with this last week that was telling me that. So don't feel like you have to stop at 30. That's really one, what you're shooting for. Okay, now there's going to be a new booking training that Cheryl's going to post with the call to actions in the Elevate group. This is from Stacy Itzel. Some of you might recognize her name. She is a total rock star in the company overall. Definitely a person that you want to listen to what she has to say, any opportunity you have. So she's going to be putting that. Now that I believe is talking about how to book parties in your shows. So that's going to be because we need to add that in too, right? You've got the contacts you're making outside of parties to get them on your calendar, but you want to make that sustainable. So then you continue with a balance of outside contacts and party bookings from your party. So make sure you listen to Stacy's and list your top 3 takeaways from that. We want to hear what you guys think, what you're going to jump on and start implementing, what really spoke to you. Maybe a light bulb came on, some aha moment, and you're like, yeah, that's something I'm going to do. Also, when you implement some of those things, we'd love to hear what happened. If you're like, oh my gosh, I did that thing Stacy said and I got a booking, that's really exciting. I mean, we want to celebrate those things, and it's great for everybody else to hear, because then they might be feeling like, oh, I'm going to try that one too, because Kathy did and it worked, and I'm going to, grab that from Stacy's training and try it out. So it's really awesome for you guys to share what's working for you, so other people, get that information too. Sending your rockstar messages to the guests in your party. So any parties that you have going on right now, and as you start to get, move into the parties that you're booking, and I know some of you booked parties for August, right? Sarah, I know, had told me she was making her contacts. She's shooting for September, but somebody still wanted one of those electrics at a great deal. So she ended up booking an August party, which is actually great, because that one August party could turn into multiple September bookings. So it's not too late to pull in some hosts for August between the host specials, 60% off anything. And I've got somebody who booked for that to get cookware. She's not getting the electrics, even though those are an amazing deal, but for anything, if you pair that with electrics, make sure you're reaching out to those people that are, that have ever expressed an interest, hopping back through your parties, through your wish list, through your drawing slips, through whatever, to find the ones for the power tools, because there is still time to do an express party, set up a 3-day party on Facebook, do a quick table party, even just a share the link, set up a party for them, give them a link in the messaging to send out their friends, and they can do a quick 3-day virtual catalog show with that link. So those August parties are great for your sales this month, but you can multiply the bookings from that. If you get 2 bookings, then, that are moving into September, that's more valuable for your September than that one person if you put them into September. Does that make sense? So if you can get maybe 2 parties booked in the rest of August, and then get 2 bookings from each of those, that's giving you 4 September parties, right? So just kind of think about working this into your system. So sending rockstar guest messages to those people that are currently in your party, and and also as your party, kind of getting into the routine of doing that as you start moving into your parties. And let's see. So the other thing is, when you are in parties that you have going on right now, okay, or anything that happens as you're continuing to book between now and September 6th, which I'm going to throw a side note in there. You may also have parties in early September that can give you bookings before September 6th, right? Or I guess it's September 5th is what we're shooting for, since our call is on the 6th, right? But think about that. Like, I start parties on Fridays. I have 4 parties booked for September 2nd. I don't have to wait till those are done to get bookings from those parties. So if you've got parties starting, like, say, September 1st or 2nd, something like that, start sending out messages to people, work on maybe getting some of those booked for September 14th or later in the month. Those are still going to be September bookings. And if you've got them booked by the 5th, before we do our phase 2 call, then those count toward, so you've got some different opportunities here to work with. Within those parties between now and September 5th, one of the things that can make a big difference is creating desire for the products. Because when we talk about free and discounted products for our hosts, that is only relevant to someone if they have a wish list, if there are things that they want. You'll get a handful of people that host just to help out their friend, which is great, or just because it's fun and they want to get friends together. But a lot of people are also looking at what's in it for them and the standpoint of getting those products in their kitchen. So there has to be a desire for products before they care about it being free or half price, right? So that can be a huge focus that you put out there, and it's making it about them, not about, I need you to do me a favor and have a party. But look at how amazing this cookware is. And by the way, you can get it half price. I know you wanted to get that manual foods processor. Let's get that for you free. when you have a party. And so creating a desire for products, go live with something. You don't have to even make a full recipe. Take that garlic press and press a clove. Just show them something that works. Talk about things even without making anything. Grab that blender and hug it and tell everybody how much you love it because you make a smoothie every morning. It's the best smoothie you ever had. Right? So talk about things in your parties that are going to be relevant to people and make them interested in that product and how they can save money and get it by hosting. And then it's sort of a natural, offering a solution to a problem. The blender offers a solution if they need a good smoothie maker. The hosting is offering a solution of how to get the blender. So every aspect of it is offering a solution, right? But sometimes the solution is the product. Sometimes the solution is the host benefits. So kind of bring that into it. Posting about things, posting videos of yourself or the company videos, all those sort of things. Whatever you can do to create desire for products will help your sales now and help your bookings for in the future. So those are your call to action items for this week. Cheryl is going to put it out there in the group. So you'll have the list of those things, a link to Stacy's training, and I think that is about that's the end of the call to action. So Cheryl, I'm gonna send it back to you.
Cheryl, can I just one more thing?
Go
Real
ahead,
quick?
Kelly.
I just wanted to say, as I'm sitting here thinking about it, how many of you, just raise your hand quick for me, nobody has to put it in the chat or anything. How many of you are holding like a customer appreciation, like shared rewards party next month, or even maybe a product premiere? Any of you guys doing that? How many raise their hands? Bam, you just got a new booking.
I was gonna say you are now.
Well, and bam, you just got another
Yeah,
booking.
right, exactly. Yeah.
You should all be doing something whenever there's a new product premiere like that. Shared rewards, just a party to release all the new products. So bam, thank you. I just gave you another booking.
I gave you a booking, so everybody has at least one booking.
I was gonna say, I didn't think that counted, so now I have 2 bookings.
Why
A
wouldn't it
show
count?
is a
Yep.
show.
Show is
It
a
doesn't
show.
matter.
Yep.
Absolutely.
So bam, you just got another booking.
Yeah, because you get parties off of your own parties all the time. So
And sales.
Yeah.
I mean, it counts it for sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay,
so
guys,
that was just my little realization.
You just can't recruit the host. That's
Yeah.
all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, Kelly, I was talking to when I was doing my calls this week. That was one of the things I mentioned too. Hey, look, you need to count yourself as a booking.
Mhm.
And, no matter what, that's a booking. So guys, let me just kind of explain something about the calls to action really quick, or the, however you say it. But, I know a lot of times you want to just start doing all the things that, the contacts and all that stuff. You want to dive deep into that. But guys, let me tell you something. Let me just share this wisdom with you. In order for you to make and get the success you want to get, you've got to get your head in the right place. And I don't mean like you got to be like, oh, all pumped up, or, oh, yeah, I'm going to do this. Sometimes it's hard for you to kind of like, and I know me, sometimes to get myself motivated when I'm on a task. I got to get 30 bookings. And I'm just going to da-da-da-da-da. The call to action, when we put those audios out there or those videos out there or those Zoom trainings, we're going to put them at the top. I know a couple of these other ones we kind of slid down at the bottom. I'm working to make sure that mindset change happens first. So do listen, you don't have to sit down like Stacy Itzels. Yes, it is a Zoom. Yes, she shares lots of visuals, but if you've got to mow the yard, vacuum the house, drive yourself somewhere or whatever, or if you're in the shower putting your makeup on, whatever, turn that Zoom on and listen. It is so critical for you to listen to the things that she's saying or anybody is saying before you start on your task. It's kind of like if you were in school and you wanted to grow up and be a teacher, or you wanted to grow up and be a doctor, something like that. You have to study and learn first. You may know how, like, oh, I think I know how to get bookings and things like that. But it is very important for you to learn, because you're going to be given tips, you're going to be given ideas, you're going to be given words that you might have never thought about. So don't jump into the task right away. Oh my gosh, I got to get all these done. Do that kind of like homework, that training first. So we want to pop those at the top. So if you've only focused from the week 1 call to action, if you've only focused on the task and you have not listened to Marna or things like that, go and listen to those and go and listen to Stacy first. And if you don't have an hour, I think Stacy's is maybe 45 minutes. I don't know exactly. I was mowing the yard when I was listening to it both times. It is a Zoom. She shares screens, but guess what? I can sit in my office and I can dedicate time to go and look at those and go and see the things that I visually missed. But everything that I heard over and over again has given this old dog some new things to go with. This old dog is like, yeah, I used to do that. I need to do that again. So it is very important for you to do those. And if you don't have an hour, you don't read a book when you sit down. You read a book over a course of time. So sit down and give yourself 15 minutes to listen. Give yourself another 15 minutes to listen later, another 15 minutes to listen later. So don't feel like, oh my gosh, I've got to dedicate and sit down and totally focus. No, if you've got pockets of time, utilize, like I'm telling you, when you're in the shower or taking a bath, mowing, vacuuming, dusting, washing, whatever, cooking, listen during those times because you're gonna absorb the things you want to absorb. And then you can go back and go, I want to go back and really listen to that again, really see. So I mean, if you didn't get through it last week, it's okay. But it is very important that you listen to those things. Marna's is life-changing. I've already implemented a couple things Marna did. I've listened to Stacy's twice so far. These are top leaders in the company, and they know what it takes, and they run amazing businesses. So I know I just chatted a little bit too long, but we want to hear from you. Questions, come off mute. You know, there's a raise hand option under the more that you can like raise your hand if you want to speak, or you can just shout it out. But we want to hear from you guys before we sign off this morning.
Or you can put it in the chat if you're not in a place where you can talk. So that's fine too. We'll check that.
Yeah, you don't have to talk if you don't want to. And whoever is logged in as Zoom user, will you put in the chat who you are? Because we don't know who Zoom user is. If you'll see it at the bottom right hand side of your screen, I think. If you're on, but we don't know who you are. And I messaged you a second ago. Still don't know who you are. But we know this group of, nope, Dawn, we can see you. So Susanna wants to use the calendar for brain dumping. I know Susanna's at work, so chat. All right. So y'all are all ready to see what to do next, right? No questions. Y'all are super duper quiet.
It's probably me. This is Jamie Johnson.
Jamie, yep, it is you. Okay.
Yeah. And I thought I named myself last week, but I guess I didn't. So I will try and do that when
that's fine.
Yep.
And you can actually,
me.
when you're on it, you can actually change yourself by clicking on participants, and there's a little square with 3 dots, and you can rename yourself, like during the call if you ever wanted to. It's okay. We just didn't know who you were. But yeah, does anybody got anything that was a takeaway that you want to share from last week, or something that you've done in the past that works? Because, you know, this group, it helps each other.
I think Marna, listening to Marna is very valuable. She just keeps, you know, putting everything back to, you know, when we first started with cooking shows and kind of relating it to now. It's still a personal business, and you still have to reach out to people personally and make that connection, like you have always said, Cheryl and Jill and all the other leaders. So I encourage you to listen to Marna. She just has a way about her that is just so, I don't know, real.
Yeah.
and not canned, or, you know, and it just flows from her. And it's just, I can't write fast enough to get the ideas. So I'm going to be listening to that multiple times. I just listened to it last night and took like 3 pages of notes. So
Yeah.
definitely listen to that. And like Cheryl said, put those things on while you're doing whatever chore you are. And that really helps to get it done too. Yeah.
Melanie just said she loved how Marna said smart people wouldn't pay full price. I mean, how many of you guys, like when I go to TJ Maxx, I might be scooting over at the clearance section first because, jeans you wear all the time and you can get them on the clearance rack and pay $20 versus $34 or whatever. So, yeah. And Marna, also one of the things I'll just share that she talked about is when we're promoting sales and you're working to just meet your numbers, so to speak. You're working towards a sale. Where's that sale going to take you after the sale? Where is a booking going to take you? You get a booking. It's kind of like you teach somebody to fish and they're going to be able to, feed themselves. If you hand somebody a plate of fish, they're going to be able to just eat. It's going to serve that one purpose, but you teach them to fish and they're going to continue. I don't know exactly the words. Y'all know what I'm talking about, but the bookings, a sale is going to put you in front of one person. A booking, no matter if your party is a flop, do you ever find golden nuggets in your 0 parties? All the time. Jill's shaking her head. I got a recruit lead off of a 0 party, and she's actually a team member. I got a booking and bookings to follow after a 0 party. One other thing I know Marna said was it really resonated with me. I do the winter post, guys. Guys, you should do the winter post. But I changed it up a bit. I switched it around and said something to the effect, I'll put it in the document if I hadn't already, something to the effect of, yay, yes, you're a winner. You get to choose from, I have 3 cookbooks I offer, bam, bam, bam. And because I don't want to offer them all because that's too many for me to be able to, jump back and forth. I mean, I could, but I don't. Just give them a few options. Don't give them a lot of options. But then I say, I would also love to talk to you about upgrading your prize, something like that. Would you like to know more? So I'm offering every single guest in that party their choice of one of 3 cookbooks. Instead of making them feel, because sometimes when they read that winter post and they can choose the free cookbook or they can book a party and get the upgrade, well, they're having to figure out which one they want to do. The cookbook seems the easiest. So now I've kind of changed it up a little bit. I can't give you statistics. I've only done it for like 2 parties. So the other one works great for me, but I've been doing it for 8 months. This one I just started. So, offering everybody a cookbook, everybody, give them, and it's free. So why not? So that was something I started doing. We'll see how it goes. I mean, everybody loves something, a little goodie for free. So yep, Debbie, and it also gives you the chance to ask them again, well, great, here's your cookbook. My have for some reason keeps coming in here. What, have you thought about the upgrade? It gives you a chance because they're usually going to pick a cookbook. So they're usually going to connect with you more so if they're like, she just sent me a message about a booking. I don't want to even ask about the cookbook, or I shouldn't say. So I hope that kind of gave you a little bit. Time for another question real quick or a statement or something.
I just have something to say. My big aha moment in all of this has been the tracking. I've got Post-it notes all over my office. I've got sheets of paper all over my office. I used your tracking thing, Cheryl, and I just threw this one now. I was going in and adding like a recruit's contact and doing all that. So I'll plug that stuff in today. But that's been the big thing that I know I've been missing, is because I couldn't figure out how to organize myself. So that's going to be a deal maker for me, I think.
Awesome. Yeah, and just make your columns however you want. And I mean, if you're not intimidated by spreadsheets, mine actually has extra tabs at the bottom that I could tell you about. I didn't share all of that with you for fear of really overwhelming people. So if anybody is interested, we're also going to share, Kathy, I didn't forget, I don't know if she's still on here or not, but we're going to share a tracking. I don't know that it's listed on here, but like a show tracker, like a digital or a host tracker, kind of like on a spreadsheet. You list the host names on the left hand side, and here's the things that you need to check off. Sent the host packet, check. Made that phone call to the host, check. Some things, set the party up, check. Because if you've got all these bookends and you're trying to figure out, how many people mail a host packet and forget
Or
all day
wonder,
long?
did I or didn't I? I'm
Yeah,
not
and I'm like looking at the receipt, and if I went to Big Rock, there's no zip code. There's just a little receipt. And I'm like, oh, what zip code was that? Oh, I think I did. So it's going to be something like that. So we're going to give you as many trackers and things like that as we can. You don't have to use them, but they're there for you if you do want to use them. And if you get them and you're like, hey, I don't understand this, reach out to one of us leaders. We'll kind of be able to guide you through it. And if it's, I don't think any of them are personally mine. So I think the
Well,
most of us kind of can
and the
figure it
other
out.
thing with trackers is it can show you where the gaps are, right? So sometimes, like I said, you think you talk to everybody, you find on your tracker it was actually 5 people. It just felt like everybody. Same thing with like working with your host. You're like, well, I do ask every host. Really? If you've got columns for 5 times asking your hosts and every party only has 1 box checked, well, I guess that's a gap, an opportunity to do something differently and to be, remembering to do all the things. So it's a reminder, it's some accountability, but I think one of the biggest values in it is when you are able to visually look at, did I or did I not? When it's mailing a host packet, okay, well, that's that's one thing, get that packet sent. But it also, you can look at, is there a trend? I'm not getting a host to join my team. I'm not finding, like, none of my hosts ever want to join my team, but I can actually go back and look at what's my trend when it comes to talking to my hosts about joining my team. Am I asking them once and then forgetting to bring it up again, or getting scared off because they said no? Okay, that's something I need to address. Am I messaging a couple of people that ordered, but not everybody, to say thank you for your order? And whatever the things are that you decide, again, this is your business plan, this is your strategy that you need to develop and become consistent with. And so whatever those things are that are on a tracker, it can help you to be able to say, yes, this is a habit that I'm doing consistently. And okay, so if I'm doing it consistently, still not getting the results, what do I need to do differently? That still is giving you good information. No matter what's on the tracker, it can be helpful when you then analyze it and see how it matches up with your results. So that could be like a real powerful working document as a reminder, but for a lot more than that too. So whatever form you want to use, like Cheryl said, we give you a lot of different ones. You're not going to use all of them. You're going to find the ones that track the things you want to track and in a form that's working for you, whether it's digital or paper or a little bit of both. But the value in having that information, the data doesn't lie. So if you go back and look at your numbers, you look at how that compares to the activities that you did, the actions that you took, and then you do a little self-reflection sometimes and you celebrate, or you say, okay, opportunity for growth here, some things that I can look at and do differently. And that's all, so it takes it away from just what I think I'm doing. It's sort of like if you have trouble with time, like getting things done, it can be helpful to track everything you do for a week. What am I spending my time on? Sort of like, if you're trying to eat differently and you track everything you eat for a couple of days and you're thinking, oh, I'm not doing too badly. And then you look at the actual data, might tell you a different story. Okay, I'm speaking from personal experience here. Maybe nobody else has done that, but it can be what we think we're doing and stuff like that can be very different from the reality. So, use those trackers in a way that can really provide you, just a lot of resources for, multiple ways of, using them in your business. But.
And Matt had a great statement over in the chat, and I don't know if Matt's still on, but there you are. If you would do me a favor, because that is some amazing stuff. Since once the Zoom is over, that we can't really access the chat, but I would love for you to put that in our the Elevate Messenger chat, because I love what you said about, your tracking, your schedule, and really kind of like prioritizing things. So that is because I want everybody to be able to see this. I know a couple of people have already gotten off because they had plans after 9, but if you can either copy that or type that up, but I'm actually going to try to get a screenshot of it before we get off, because that is super duper amazing. But
I already
anyway,
sent it to him.
he's already
So
done
you have to retype it.
it. He's fast.
Awesome.
Awesome. Okay.
Well, Cheryl, it also can be copied by just going over into the chat, and there's the 3 dots to the right. And when you click on that, you can copy it as well.
Shut the front door. Oh, well, no, see, mine's not letting me. I can't. for
That's
some
how
reason.
I did mine, but luckily with
On
a,
my end, it can, yeah.
Yeah, I don't
Okay.
know why I don't know. But y'all both got Macs too. I don't know if that has anything to do, but anyway.
Maybe it's only the person who wrote the message can do that.
No, Donna and Deb just could do it.
yeah,
Oh, huh,
we got Max. I was able to copy it to my iPhone and send a message on my iPhone. Yeah.
cool.
Yeah, I have a
Anyway.
Mac too.
Well, that's
So, yeah.
awesome. So, okay, guys. Well, we are super excited to chat with you next week. I know there was or not next week, but one-on-ones next week or this weekend, whenever you schedule it. But September 6th, make it a goal and to join us on September 6th for phase 2. And you will, you'll know, we'll get with you for those that are, moving forward. But listen, if you happen to not get the 14 bookings and you don't move on to phase 2, that is okay, because you can do this again. Okay, so it's not a one-shot thing. You can always come back, even if you're like where you are in your business and you've promoted to director, whatever. If you want to, because there's always great communication, there's always great accountability doing things like this. So, but focus on hitting your 14. If you are struggling and you're like, I really want to move forward, I want to do this, I want to do that, plan it out with she wants to say hi to everybody. I just know it. But plan it out make that plan with your director on how you can do that, because sometimes we just need a structured plan, and it's okay. So just keep that in mind. So anyway, well, y'all all have an amazing week and an amazing, Labor Day, because we won't see your faces again until maybe, depending on if you're on another training, until September 6th. And happy booking, everybody.
Woo, woo. Go get them, guys. Bye.
Bye, guys.